Connor McDavid, as mentioned, maintained his lead over Sidney Crosby in the NHL scoring race with 3 points of his own in the Oilers' 6-3 win over the Flyers last night. But all eyes at Rogers Place were on public enemy number one, Philly head coach Dave Haxtell.
Wait, no. I
Check that?
Right.
He's public enemy number 2. Public enemy number 1, Brandon Manning.
Yeah.
The Flyers blue liner made his first appearance in Edmonton since the collision that broke McDavid's clavicle back in 2015. The Oilers targeted Manning early. They targeted him often last night.
Did.
But he would not engage in a fight, at least early. Late in the first, Milan Lucic got him right in the Dave Semenko's. Not cool. 2 minutes for slashing for Lucic. Meanwhile, 2 minutes for embellishing for Manning. We finally got a fight. It was Patrick Maroon and Brandon Manning. Everyone in Edmonton screaming for this blood to be spilt on the ice of Rogers Place. Pretty good tilt. And Patrick Maroon's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
A very big boy. So, Timmy, after all is said and done here, has this beef officially been squashed between Brandon Manning and the Edmonton Oilers? They're not meeting again this year.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the beef is squashed, although Leon Draisaitl took a little bit of a shot after the fight at Brandon Manning. But I thought Brandon Manning handled himself spectacularly in a very, I mean, obviously he would like to get the win. Flyers need a victory, and that's his main concern. But he was being, like, it was obvious the Oilers were going to make him pay for, one, threatening their captain, and two, trying to get into his head. And I thought he was accountable. I thought he stood up. And then when it got to 4-1, he just turned around and said, listen, I can't keep looking over my shoulder for the rest of this game. I will be accountable. Here you go. I'll fight Patrick Maroon. He fought Patrick Maroon. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of it, in fact, Patrick Maroon said as much. The team that was targeting him throughout the game seemed to have more respect for him once this jam was done. Here's Maroon after the game.
He knew. He asked me to go, and I said, yeah, I'll go you. And that was it. You know, listen, he plays the game hard. You got to tip your cap sometimes, you know. Some words were exchanged, and, you know, sometimes, you know, you hear those things and you want to stick up for your teammates, and especially your captain. And, you know, if it wasn't me, I'm sure it would have been someone else. So, you know, it's over, it's done with, and it was a good fight, and I think that was it.
Like, I feel like he went after the most skilled guy in the other team, and there's obviously got to be a response to that. Otherwise, we'll have that happen all the time. But I know that there is a segment of the fan base who don't want that in the game. And I wonder, help me out. Please play that role for me. What would you do in the other case? Like, what would happen if you didn't have the fight?
In terms of last night?
Yeah.
Someone's getting hurt. Because the fight seemed to squash it, Leon Draisaitl aside, the fight seemed to end it. And I think the comments you just heard from Patrick Maroon.
No, but I'm asking you, if they don't fight, what happens?
Someone gets hurt. That's what I mean. A cheap shot happens.
Yeah.
And this is after he got it right in the Ken Reeds. Right?
Yeah.
It escalates, it escalates, it escalates, it escalates. You got McSorley.
Yeah.
And that's what happened then.
Yeah.
And I think people, listen, do I like staged fighting? No.
Right.
Do I think it serves any purpose whatsoever? Absolutely not. I think in that aspect, and you heard it from the horse's mouth in Patrick Maroon, who's built like a horse, it did kind of squash it. And I think the Oilers appreciated it. I think Brandon Manning's teammates kind of appreciate it because now you can kind of move on a little bit. And Manning, he stuck up for himself, and I give him credit. I think this is how
looking out for your guy.
This is how it's supposed to go, right? And I just think the two guys who don't play hockey at center ice on a Saturday night in Vancouver having a go at each other, it doesn't do anything for me.
I get that, and I think that most hockey fans get that as well. But that one, I don't know what the alternative is, and that's what I've been trying to say about fighting for years.